Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we were staring directly into the future. Or maybe more accurately, we're staring at the thing that's sitting on our faces looking at the future.
That's a good way to put it.
It is January 29th, 2026. And if you've been paying any attention to the tech world this month, you know that things have gotten incredibly weird in the eyewear department.
Weird is. Yeah, that's putting it mildly. We just wrapped up CES 2026, and the floodgates didn't just open. They were absolutely blown off the hinges.
It feels like everyone is jumping in the pool. To set the stage, I want to pull up a quote from Mark Zuckerberg. This is from the Q4 2025 earnings call just a few days ago.
Okay.
He said, "I think that we're at a moment similar to when smartphones arrived, and it was clearly only a matter of time until all those flip phones became smartphones."
Wow.
Yeah. He's claiming sales of Meta's glasses have tripled in the last year. That's a massive comparison to make.
It is a bold claim. He's essentially saying we're at the BlackBerry moment, just before the iPhone changed everything.
Yeah.
And, the data is starting to back him up.
Right.
But here's the problem for anyone actually trying to buy a pair right now. The market is a complete mess of acronyms. You've got XR, AR, birdbath optics, waveguides.
It's just like a new language.
It really is. It's like we have to learn a completely new language just to buy a pair of sunglasses.
And that is exactly why we're here. Our mission today is to unpack this 2026 landscape. We're going to look at the different, let's call them tribes, of smart glasses available now. We'll dig into the actual physics of how they work and why some look like sunglasses and others look like ski goggles. And then we're going to look at a really surprising study about whether this tech actually helps us learn.
Or if it's just a flashy distraction.
Exactly. And of course, you have to talk about the elephant in the room.
Or rather, the fruit in the room.
Oh, absolutely.
Ah.
We're starting there. The rumor mill has been churning for what feels like a decade. But McRumors just dropped a massive report about Apple's plans for late 2026.
Okay.
Is this finally it?
Well, yes and no, and I think a lot of people are going to be surprised and maybe a little let down by the no part. According to the reports, Apple is ramping up for a launch at the end of this year. They're aiming to produce prototypes in large quantities right now. But here's the twist.
Go on.
These are not the sci-fi, hologram-filled, augmented reality glasses everyone's been dreaming of.
Wait, hang on. So no digital objects floating on my coffee table. No virtual screens replacing my TV.
None. The report is very specific. Apple's 2026 glasses will not have AR capabilities. They're going to rival the Meta Ray-Bans.
So, cameras and microphones.
Exactly. Cameras, microphones, and, heavy integration with Siri.
That seems incredibly risky for Apple, doesn't it? They're the screen company. Why would they release a product with no screen?
It feels like they're showing up late to the party with a bag of ice when everyone else is bringing champagne.
Yeah.
It does feel that way on the surface, but when you dig into the engineering, it's not a failure of vision, it's a surrender to physics.
Explain that.
It comes down to two things: heat and density. We all want the Tony Stark glasses, right? Thin, light, all-day battery with a supercomputer inside. But right now, to get that kind of processing power and a display that's bright enough, you generate heat, a lot of it.
And you can't put a hot processor on someone's temple.
It's a safety hazard. Nobody wants a burn mark on their face.
Right.
And then there's the battery. Moore's law makes chips smaller and faster, but battery chemistry doesn't move at that speed. To power a full AR display all day, you'd need a battery the size of a hockey puck strapped to your head.
And Apple just won't release something that clunky.
Never. So they view this 2026 product as a stepping stone. They want to normalize the behavior first. Normalize wearing tech on your face.
So it's a psychological play. Get us used to talking to Siri on our face before they try to put a computer in our eyes.
Precisely. If they can get you comfortable with the form factor, the magic screen can come later, when the battery tech catches up.
And they aren't alone.
Not at all. Google is making moves with Warby Parker. Snap just spun out its AR division. The race is on, but everyone's taking a slightly different path.
Okay, so the market is splitting up. This is where it gets confusing for the average person. We found a great breakdown from a 2026 buying guide by Raineo that categorizes these into three distinct tribes.
Right. Or personas.
Yeah, personas.
Yeah.
I looked at this list and honestly, I wasn't sure where I fit. Can you break these down?
Sure. This guide is helpful because it stops asking what are the specs and starts asking what are you actually doing.
I like that.
The first tribe they identify is the portable cinema.
Portable cinema, that sounds like it's for the person who wants to escape reality, not augment it.
That's a great way to put it. This is for the cramped commuter. Essentially, this is a monitor on your face, You're on a train, a plane, or you just want to play a game on your Steam Deck.
Without holding it up.
Right. This is for you.
So you put these on, and it looks like a massive TV is just floating in front of you.
Yes. The guide describes it as a 201-inch screen, effectively. But the trade-off is you're usually tethered by a wire to your phone or console. You're not walking around the street with these.
Okay, that makes sense. So that's Tribe 1. What's Tribe 2?
Tribe 2 is the social capture, and this aligns perfectly with that Apple rumor we just discussed.
The digital minimalist or content creator?
Yep. This is for them.
So no screen.
No screen at all. It's about being in the moment, but being able to capture it. You have high-quality cameras. We're seeing 3K resolution video now, and open-ear audio. The Meta Ray-Ban Gen 2 is the big one here.
I see. So this is for the person who wants to record their hike or their kids without holding a phone up to their face.
Exactly. And because there are no bulky projectors, they look the most like normal sunglasses. Which brings us to the third tribe.
The one everyone thinks they want.
The AI computer.
This is the Iron Man fantasy.
This is for the global operator. Standalone AR, a computer on your face, hands-free autonomy. You can see live translations of a menu, navigation arrows floating on the sidewalk.
Notifications hovering in the air.
Yeah. The example they gave here was the Rainio X3 Pro.
But this is where I get stuck on the visuals. You mentioned projectors. How are these things actually creating images in our eyes? Because I've seen some that look like thick sunglasses and others that look like clear glass.
And that's where we have to pop the hood and talk optics. It usually comes down to two very different technologies. Bird bath versus waveguide.
Bird bath is possibly the worst name for a piece of high-tech gear I've ever heard.
It's terrible.
Please tell me it doesn't involve water.
No water, thankfully. So think of the portable cinema glasses we just talked about. They almost always use bird bath optics.
Okay.
Imagine a tiny micro OLED screen at the top of the glasses frame pointing down. It reflects off a curved mirror, the bird bath, and then into your eye.
So it's basically a periscope.
It's a similar concept, yeah. And because it relies on simple reflection, the image is incredibly bright and sharp, like a movie theater.
Yep.
But the trade-off is the lenses have to be thick to house that geometry.
And they're always dark, like sunglasses.
Exactly. They have to be tinted to block out sunlight so you can actually see the reflection. That's why you can't really make eye contact with someone wearing them.
Okay, that explains the sunglasses look. So what about the transparent ones? The ones where I can see your eyes?
That is usually optical waveguide technology. This is much more sci-fi.
Right.
So instead of a mirror, light is pumped through a piece of glass that has been microscopically etched. The light bounces around inside the glass. It's trapped until it reaches the spot right in front of your pupil, and then it's directed out.
So the lens itself is the delivery system.
It is, and it allows for complete transparency. The digital info just floats in the real world. Now, the downside has historically been a narrower field of view.
Like looking through a small window.
Yeah, and the images can look a bit ghostly or have rainbow artifacts.
I was reading a technical report from Plessy, and they were talking about next-gen tech to fix those ghostly images. They kept mentioning micro LEDs. Why is that the buzzword?
It's all about a battle against the sun. To see a hologram on a sunny beach, you need brightness. A standard OLED screen like on your phone or in those bird bath glasses hits maybe 1,000 nits of brightness.
And what does a micro LED hit?
Hundreds of thousands of nits, sometimes millions. It's blindingly bright, which means it can compete with daylight. The problem has always been manufacturing.
Making them small enough.
Making them efficiently. Usually, to make an LED display, you use a process called pick and place. A machine literally picks up a tiny LED and sticks it on a circuit board.
Like tiling a floor.
Exactly. But imagine trying to tile a floor where the tiles are the size of a bacteria. If you need millions of pixels that are only 10 microns wide, a mechanical arm physically cannot move fast enough to place them one by one.
It would take forever.
So Plessy describes a shift to GaN-on-silicon monolithic manufacturing. Instead of placing tiles one by one, they essentially grow the entire tiled floor all at once, directly on the silicon chip.
So it's all one solid piece.
All one piece. It makes the display scalable, super bright, and super tiny. That's the tech that's finally going to make the Iron Man glasses actually usable outdoors.
Okay, so making these things is incredibly hard. We're fighting physics, we're growing LEDs. It's a lot. But I want to pivot to what might be the most important question. Does any of this actually help us?
Right. Am I smarter or just more distracted?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we found a fascinating study from Brigham Young University that tackled this head-on. They looked at AR in manufacturing education teaching students to use a welder and a lathe.
A high-stakes environment. You don't want to be distracted when you're holding a welding torch.
Not at all. They compared 3 groups. Group 1 got written instructions, the old school manual. Group 2 used smartphone AR. Group 3 used the HoloLens 2.
The premium hands-free headset.
Right. I'm going to guess the HoloLens 1. Hands-free, immersive. That's the whole promise, isn't it?
You would think so. And in terms of satisfaction, you're right. The students using AR, both the phone and the headset, absolutely crushed the written instructions.
I loved it.
They loved it. They felt more confident. They rated the lesson as more relevant. They needed fewer interventions from the teacher.
So the tech works. It makes people feel better about learning.
It works for confidence. But here's the surprise. The study found that the smartphone AR group was actually faster than the HoloLens group.
Wait, really? Holding a phone with one hand, juggling the device, was faster than being completely hands-free.
Significantly faster. And it came down to what they called the familiarity factor. Every student has a smartphone. Their thumbs know exactly what to do. Tap, swipe, zoom.
It's muscle memory.
It is. And the headset doesn't have that. The HoloLens required a learning curve just to operate it. You have to learn the specific air gestures, the voice commands.
And there were glitches.
Yeah, the study noted technical glitches. The tracking would drift or they'd have to reset the device. The friction of the hardware got in the way of the learning.
That is such a crucial insight. We assume more immersive equals better, but if I have to spend 10 minutes figuring out how to click a button in thin air, I've lost the advantage.
Exactly. The researchers concluded that accessibility can beat immersion. You don't always need the expensive headset. But there was one other finding in that study that was a bit alarming. Safety. Because the HoloLens was so immersive, one student actually bumped into a lathe lever and turned the spindle on while they were distracted by the holograms.
Yikes. Okay, so situational awareness is still a massive issue.
Huge. When you overlay digital info on the real world, you are, by definition, obscuring parts of the real world.
So keeping that safety warning in mind. Let's say a listener is sitting there with their credit card out.
Yeah.
We pulled the best of lists from PC Mag and Tom's Guide. Let's group these by what they feel like to use.
Good idea.
Let's start with the tech heavyweight. If I want the absolute best visual experience, what am I buying?
The consensus seems to be the X-Real 1 Pro.
And what makes it pro pick?
It's the feeling of stability. It has a massive 57-degree field of view, but the killer feature is the built-in head tracking.
Break down why that matters.
On cheaper glasses, the screen is glued to your face. If you turn your head left, the movie screen moves left. It's unnatural. It can cause motion sickness.
Yeah.
With head tracking, the X-Real anchors the screen in space. You can turn your head, look away from the movie, look back, and the screen is still hanging there in the exact same spot.
That sounds much more real, but I assume I'm paying for it.
You are. It's around $650.
Okay, what if I'm cheap? I just want to watch Netflix on a plane, and I don't care about anchoring screens in space.
Then you want the Rainio Air 3s Pro. It's the budget pick under $300. No fancy sensors, but it has a beautiful, bright micro OLED screen. It does one thing very well.
Now, what about the gamers? I saw the Asus ROG X-Real R1.
Yeah.
Is that just branding, or is it actually different?
It's actually different. The standout here is speed. It has a 240 hertz refresh rate.
Which means
Smoothness. If you're playing a fast-paced shooter and you whip your head around, 240 hertz means the image doesn't blur or smear. It stays crisp.
which is the difference between winning and losing.
You're a gamer, yeah.
There were also some really niche specialist glasses that I thought were hilarious, but kind of brilliant. Tell me about the karaoke glasses.
The Memo Mind one. It has a teleprompter mode, which is genuinely useful, but yes, the reviews highlighted the karaoke lyrics mode. You see the lyrics scrolling right in front of your eyes.
I mean, for a party trick, that is unbeatable.
Yeah.
And the ones that change color.
The Camelo Music Shield, this is pure cool factor. The lenses change tint electronically. You can slide your finger on the frame and go from clear glass to dark sunglasses instantly.
Very cyberpunk. And finally, for the athletes.
The Oakley Meta Vanguard. Basically the Meta Smarts, the AI, the camera, but in a rugged, waterproof frame. IP67 rated, you can run in a downpour and ask the AI for your pace.
So we have amazing options, but we promise to be real about this. What's the friction that the marketing videos don't show you?
The biggest one is still the leash. For almost all the portable cinema glasses, you have a cable running from your ear to your phone in your pocket.
And I've heard that drains your phone battery like crazy.
It destroys it. You're powering a second screen, and the cable gets snagged on doorknobs. It is a very unfuturistic feeling to be tethered by a wire.
What about fit? I wear prescription glasses. Can I just wear these over them?
Generally, no. That is a huge friction point. You can't just slide these over your glasses. You have to buy a magnetic prescription inserts that snap in.
Which is an extra cost and an extra hassle.
For sure. And then there's the face fit lottery.
Explain that.
It's a real struggle. With these optics, your eye has to be perfectly aligned with the projector. If your nose is a little too small or your eyes are set a little too wide, the edges of the screen get blurry. If your face doesn't match the average they designed for, you're just out of luck.
We also have to touch on the social friction. Mac Rumors had a comment section that was lively, and it brought up a term I haven't heard in a while, glass hole.
Yeah, that term is making a comeback. It's from the backlash against the original Google Glass back in 2013. People hated not knowing if they were being recorded.
And that fear hasn't gone away.
If anything, it's worse. With these new glasses, the cameras are better and the recording lights are often super subtle. One commenter said, "I will not interact with anyone pointing a camera at me."
There's a deep discomfort there.
And unlike a phone, you don't have to raise your arm to record, you just stare. It changes the social contract of being in public.
So let's wrap this up. It feels like 2026 is the year of fragmentation. We have amazing tech, but it's all split up.
That's the perfect word for it. You have to choose your tribe. Do you want a movie theater, a camera, or a computer? You can't have all three in a perfect package. Not yet.
Not yet. But with Apple entering the ring later this year, we might see the start of that consolidation. Apple has a way of taking a messy market and forcing it to make sense.
They do. And once it's normal to wear a computer on your face, the development speed is going to skyrocket.
I want to leave you with a thought to mull over. We talked about how these glasses can give us superpowers: translation, navigation, instant knowledge. But if everyone is walking around with facial recognition, recording 247, do we lose the right to be anonymous in public? And maybe more importantly, are we ready for a reality where we have to remember to charge our eyeglasses every 4 hours?
Honestly, the charging anxiety might be the thing that breaks me.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you in the future.
Welcome back to Health Today. Today we're discussing the importance of childhood wellness. We'll explore tips and strategies for healthier kids.